Krishna Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj ki, Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Gonitai ki, ISKCON Phoenix Yatra ki, all glory to His symbol of holiness, all glory to His symbol of holiness, all glory to His symbol of holiness, all glory to Shri Guru, Shri Guru. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. This is going to be a little short class. So I'm just going to speak on the next verse. As you may recall, we've been talking about the importance of getting attached to a sadhu. So Lord Kapila is explaining that to his mother. And this next verse highlights the need for association. Okay? Canto 3, chapter 25, text 25. Satam prasangam mama virya samido vanti karna Krishna Katha Taj Josana Aspavarga Vardmani Shraddha Rati Bhakti Anukramishati Sata Prasanga Mama Virya Samido Vanti his karna Madaya Katha Sajosana Das Varga Vartmani Siddharati Bhakti Anukamashati Satam Prasangam Namavirya Samvido Vanti his karna Rasayana Katha Sajosana Varga Vartmani Siddharati Bhakti Anukamashati Mataji. Word meaning.
Of pure devotees. Prasangat.
Louder.
Through the association. Mama, my,
Virya, wonderful activities. Samvida, by discussion of. Bhavanti, become. Hrit, to the heart. Karna, to the ear. Rasayana, pleasing. Katha, the stories. Sat, of that. Joshana, by cultivation. Asho, quickly. Apavarga, of liberation. Vartamani, on the path. Shraddha, firm faith. Rati, attraction. Bhakti, devotion. Anupravishyati, will follow in order. Translation and purpose by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is free and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begins. Purpose. The process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here. The first point is that one must seek the association of persons who are Krishna conscious and who engage in devotional service. Without such association, one cannot make advancement. Simply by theoretical knowledge or study, one cannot make one appreciable advancement. One must give up the association of materialistic persons and seek the association of devotees, because without the association of devotees, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Generally, people are convinced of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth because they do not associate with devotees. They cannot understand that the absolute truth can be a person and have personal activities. This is a very difficult subject matter, and unless one has personal understanding of the absolute truth, there is no meaning to devotion. Service or devotion cannot be offered to anything impersonal. Service must be offered to a person. Non-devotees cannot appreciate Krishna consciousness by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literature wherein the activities of the Lord are described. They think that these activities are fictional, manufactured stories, because spiritual life is not explained to them in a proper way. To understand the personal activities of the Lord, one has to seek the association of devotees. And by such association, when one contemplates and tries to understand the transcendental activities of the Lord, the path of to liberation is over, and he is free. One who has firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes fixed, and his attraction for association with the Lord and the devotees increases. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. The devotees who make this association develop their consciousness for rendering service to the Lord, and then being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes person.
You can repeat the translation responsibly.
Please repeat. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, And thereafter he is free. And his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin.
Om Gyanti Mandasya Dhananjana Sakya Chaitanya Manovisam Sadhamena Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Satam Prasanga Nama Virya Samvido Bodhi Het Karna Rasayana Kasa Taj Jasanat Ad Parga Varnasmi Shadaratir Bhakti Anukumarshad. So we just a few minutes ago, we are continuing to discuss on the theme that we discussed a few days ago. We earlier discussed Kapila Deva advising his mother to remember, you get attached to the saintly person. Why? Because if you're attached to the saintly person, then you'll also be attached to what instruction he is giving. Otherwise, attraction is just sentimental. And then Lord Kapila Deva further explained what the qualities are of these saintly people. And then Lord Kapila continues to emphasize the importance of getting attached to one who is transcendental, and he certifies attached to the saintly person opens the door for liberation. Attachment to the materialist opens the door for bondage. Now, on that same theme, Lord Kapila Deva is again repeating the essential point, but from a different angle. In the earlier verses, he said, get attached to a sadhu. Then he described what the nature of a sadhu and the qualities. Now he's saying, in association with devotees. Now, what in the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Lord is very pleasing and satisfying to hear. So our lives will be so focused that we are able to get spiritual association. Is somebody translating in Hindi? Okay. Spiritual association, as you've heard time and again, is paramount. Narada Muni explains to Dhruva Maharaj in the 4th canto that we can possibly have 3 levels of association. One is associating with those who are more advanced. The other is associating with those who are equally advanced. And the third is, who knows? No. Associating with those who are less advanced. So you associate with those who are more advanced, equally advanced, and less advanced. How do you reciprocate in these different levels? Now the Muni explains that when you have the facility to associate with those who are more advanced, then you become joyful. And in the Veda, in the Bhagavatam, the example is given when the peacock sees the clouds for the first time in the rainy season, they dance in ecstasy. And don't ask me why. I'm not in a position to say why. But it's in the Bhagavatam, because when they see the clouds for the first time, they dance in ecstasy. A farmer, when he looks at the clouds, he's happy. So when you have the opportunity to associate with those who are more advanced, we should become joyful. And when you meet somebody equally advanced, you should make friendship. And when you meet somebody less advanced, you should display compassion. Now, when you meet somebody more advanced, you should be joyful. Now, this is the desire of every devotee. In the 4th canto, you read the story of Dhruva Maharaj, how he went to the forest to look for Krishna. Look for God. How he performed extreme austerities, eating once in 3 days, once in 6 days. That to fruits, berries, dry grass. So the Lord was very pleased by Dhruva's austerities, and he revealed his transcendental form. And then the Lord said, Dhruva, for my sake, you underwent so many austerities. Ask me for any benediction that you want. What is Dhruva saying? My dear Lord, if you want to give me a benediction, give me the benediction that I may always associate with those who are more advanced. Because when I associate with more advanced souls, I'm going to receive knowledge that is going to help me cross all these sands, cycle of birth and death. So the reason why association is recommended, because it helps one to realize what is the real philosophy, what a real goal should be. So therefore, when you have the opportunity to associate with those who are more advanced, you should become joyful. Now what Prabhupada explains, in a material situation, if you associate with somebody more advanced, you try to pull him down. He just became big by accident. He cheated and got a good job. I don't want to cheat. Then you try to justify. But so in a material situation, when we meet somebody more advanced, what do? We try to pull him down. We try to discredit him. But in spiritual life, when you meet somebody more advanced, you don't try to pull him down. Rather, you listen to the message that the sage is giving. When you meet somebody more equally advanced, now the Muni says, what do? What do? Make friendship. What does friendship in spiritual life mean? We all know what friendship in material life means. Friendship in material life means, I facilitate your sense enjoyment, and you facilitate mine. Your partners in crime. And when that cannot be realized, then what happens? Then they get separated. That's why the divorce rate is getting higher and higher everywhere. That's why relatives, members of a family get separated. So, but in mature spiritual life, it means somebody who's someone equally advanced to make friendship. So friendship in spiritual life means we work together to fulfill the mission of the Lord. We work together to serve the Lord. In the 4th canto, there's a very nice explanation on the Prachetas. The Prachetas were the sons of a king called King Prachina Parishat. And they performed extreme austerities. Their father was busy making plans for sense enjoyment. So now the Muni came over there, uninvited, and started preaching to him. And the Prachetas performed austerities for 10,000 years. So the Lord told them, I am very pleased with all of you. There were several brothers. I am very pleased with all of you. Why? Who knows? Because all of you are engaged cooperatively in running devotional service. So therefore, ask me for any benediction that you want. The Lord told the Prachetas, I'm very pleased with all of you, with all you brothers. I have only one occupation. And what's that? Devotional service. And because all of you are engaged in devotional service together, I'm very pleased with all of you. So ask me for any benediction you want. So Prabhupada in the purport elaborates on this principle and explains how in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness we should all work together to fulfill the mission of the Lord. Prabhupada used to comment on the United Nations. He used to say, the United Nations was formed to bring peace. Well, what is it actually doing? It is uniting nations. So the Lord told the Prachetas, I'm very pleased with all of you, because all of you have only one occupation, devotional service. So that should be our goal, even in the Krishna Consciousness Society. We should all have one occupation. What's that? Learning devotional service. The one occupation, devotional service, is the essence of all religion. So, the Lord has explained that I'm pleased because all of you have one association. Prabhupada used to comment on this. He used to say, there's a famous English phrase, united we stand, divided we fall. I think you learn that in school everywhere. United we stand, divided we fall. If we all work together, keeping Krishna in the forefront, then we'll be united. And if we are endeavoring with each one with our own agenda, then we won't be able to get united. So you can be united if you have a single-pointed goal. But if you're multi-pointed, then it's hard to remain united. Prabhupada gave an example. He said there was a father who was being massaged by his sons. And every son was trying to please the father. But actually every son was trying to please the father. But they ended up beating the father because they were doing the massage. And they actually ended up beating the father. So the father said, are you beating me or massaging me? Prabhupada said, you take one blade of grass, it has no strength. But if you combine all the grasses together, and then try to break it, you won't succeed. So, our goal on the devotional path should be to please Krishna. Lord Chaitanya gave the process of Sharanagati. Sharanagati means? So in listing the process of Sharanagati, Lord Chaitanya said, our goal should be to be consistent with the desires of the Lord. In other words, the Lord's desire should be our desire. Not that my desire should be Krishna's desire. Presently we all aim for that. My desire should be God's desire. But as you advance spiritually, what should be your mentality? God's desire is my desire. So, when you associate with somebody equally advanced, you make friendship. And Rupa Goswami in Upadesharamrita talks about the 6 rasas that one can exchange with devotees. What is the famous word? Radhika Nati Vimakati Pachati. Priti Lakshanam. 6 rasas. What are they? Reveal your mind to those who are more advanced. Take instructions from them. Give charity, accept charity. Serve prasad, eat prasad. And the first one is, reveal your mind and take instruction. So many times we have doubts and we don't always reveal those doubts and get them clarified. And what happens? Our spiritual life gets interrupted. So Rupa Goswami says, in an association of devotees, if you have any doubts, questions, reveal your mind to those who are more advanced. Revealing the mind to those who are more advanced will have value only if you're also going to take the instruction. You go to a doctor, tell him this is my plan, this is my problem, this is my problem. Doctor says, here's the medicine and the diet. And you say, sorry, I don't want it. Does it have any value than going to the doctor? No. So you really mind those who are more advanced and take instruction. In the scriptures we see that the devotees of the Lord ask questions again and again, just like when Jad Bharat was being instructed by Rahugana. He gave the instructions, but then Jad Bharat, King Rahugana said, I have not fully understood. Can you please elaborate? So then King Rahugana, Jad Bharat elaborated the instructions. So reveal your mind to those who are more advanced and take instruction. Give charity and accept charity. What do we have to give in charity? What do we have? Big bag banner? Give in charity this transcendental knowledge and take instructions. Serve prasad and accept prasad. So Prabhupada says the International Society for Krishna Consciousness was formed to facilitate the 6 rasas among devotees. So when you associate with devotees, then in your dealings with each other are based on the 6 rasas. And if we practice this, the Lord will help. The Lord, Prabhupada said, you take 1 step towards the Lord takes 10 steps. And what's the third type of association? The third type of association is associating with those who are less advanced. When you meet somebody who is less advanced, then what do? Display compassion. What does compassion really mean? Giving them the truthful message. Sometimes the truth hurts, but the truth has to be spoken. Prabhupada was given a lecture in Rishikesh in 1977. And Prabhupada spoke very strongly and sometimes used the word rascal and fool. He can do it, but we can't. So there was one American lady in the audience. She said, Swamiji, a sadhu should not speak so boldly. So Prabhupada said, you have a boil with pus in it. You blow over that boil or press the boil. So the truth has to be spoken. So when you meet somebody less advanced, you display compassion. Compassion is one of the qualities of a sadhu. Earlier in this chapter, Lord Kapila had explained the qualities of a sadhu. Siddheshwar Karunikaha Sudha Savadahinam Vajradava Sadhavasanda Sadha Sadha Bhushana. One of the qualities of a sadhu is Karunika, merciful, compassionate. And the compassion nature is manifested by our endeavors to preach. So a Vaishnava is paradukha dukhi. Seeing others in distress, he gets distressed. So displaying compassion really means giving them the truthful message. The materialists may think displaying compassion means building a big hospital, building a big educational institution, like people in India think. You may build a big hospital, you may give them the best medical care, but if you haven't changed his heart, you have not helped him, you've entangled him more. Suppose a sick person becomes healthy with your mercy, and if he indulges in sinful activities again, what's the result? You're going to have negative results. So the real compassion is giving people transcendental knowledge. 5,000 years ago, the sages were assembled in Namashranya. And they were so concerned that they wanted to know what would be the symptoms in Kali Yuga and what would be the suggested reform. So the nature of a devotee is to be compassionate. And one way you display compassion is by distributing books. Sometimes we think, these books are outdated, they're not relevant today. They're as relevant as they were in the beginning. Why? Because every day we meet people who are reading these books and get woken up to the philosophy. So compassion means to preach, like you'll go on Harinam. That is also compassion. But Prabhupada encouraged us to do book distribution. Why? Prabhupada said, you may talk the philosophy, explain the philosophy, but then you'll forget it. But if you read a book and reread it, then that will sink into your heart. So compassion means to preach. And that preaching spirit is essential for a Vaishnava. So Lord Kapila is saying, associate with devotees, and we just explained the 3 levels of devotees, 3 levels of association. And in the association of devotees, discussion of the passion of the Lord are very relishable. It's like you talk about spiritual topics with a materialist, you'll fall asleep. But you're talking with a spiritualist, you'll be enthusiastic. But sometimes our spiritualists also fall asleep. But generally, so in the association of devotees, the discussion of the pastime is very pleasurable. Now one thing that we see everywhere, even after we come to Krishna consciousness, we retain some of our bad habits. And one of the bad habits that we retain is prajalpa. When we meet each other, we take part in prajalpa. We love to talk about prajalpa. But our goal should be to gradually to reduce prajalpa and increase Krishna Katha. King Dashrath was the father of Lord Ram. So whenever somebody would come to his palace, he would say, what is the progress on the journey back to Godhead? So when we meet each other, we should be saying, what's the progress on the journey back to Godhead? Take on a topic, any story, discuss it. And if our discussion should focus more on spiritual activity, not on the weather, or how do you feel, how are you? You don't understand and reply. Very well. But in reality, no one's very well. So, we should be engaged in cultivating spiritual topics. Now, what happens according to Kapila Dev? He says, if you engage in discussing Krishna Katha, then you will get fixed on the devotional path. Right now we are not fixed, is that right? We may be initiated 1, 12, even Brahman, but to say that I'm totally fixed, I'm as solid as a rock, is not the reality. But people do get bewildered and go back to material life. Whereas if we develop the habit of engaging in Krishna Katha, then you'll get more fixed. Rupa Goswami has described how one progresses on the spiritual path. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu. In the initial stage, you should have this feeling that I must cultivate spiritual life. I want the real thing, the real message. And that is devotional service. When you have that sincere desire that you want a genuine path, then the Lord gives you what? Sadhu association. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu. That association of sadhu comes in two forms. One is a devotee sadhu, one is a book sadhu. Book sadhu means preaching, book distribution. Recently I met somebody in India and I asked him, how did he come to Krishna consciousness? He's a young businessman. This man's business is to repair trunks, baggage. So somebody gave him a trunk to fix up. He emptied the whole suitcase, but he forgot to empty 3 or 4 books of Prabhupada. They were forgotten in the suitcase. So this man opened the suitcase to get his suitcase fixed. And there he saw some books of Prabhupada. He said, can I borrow these books? No. He started reading those books. And by reading those books, he became Krishna conscious. But he didn't even buy those books. Somebody just forgot to empty the suitcase completely. In other words, he got it accidentally. There was some good devotee in New York, in America. So I asked him about the devotee. So he was being driven by his friend in a car. And in the back of the car, he had a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. So he asked his friend, can I borrow that Bhagavad Gita? He never heard about the Gita. He had heard about it briefly in his college. He was an American. So he said, can I borrow that book? His friend said, why don't you borrow? Take it. I have no interest in this book. So then he asked his friend, if you have no interest in the book, how do you have it in your car? He said, I met a Hare Krishna monk. He was so enthusiastic that I could not tell him no. I bought the book. So when you go to preach, We have to be enthusiastic. Then your preaching will have some result. But if we just go and just to mark our attendance, they won't get the same result. Once, I may have told you this story before. Once in 1976, we had arranged for Prabhupada's display of books in a big bookstore in Bombay. But after 1 month of heavy promotion, not many books were sold. So when Prabhupada told him that in spite of our best efforts, in the bookstore, not many books were sold. And Prabhupada said, my books are distributed because of the enthusiasm of the devotees. And in a bookstore, naturally, no one is really enthusiastic. So being enthusiastic, utsaha nishchaya dharya. Gopal Goswami says, on the devotional path, be enthusiastic. Once an American girl asked Prabhupada, how can I be humble and distribute books? You never go and distribute books. You have to be a little assertive. So Prabhupada said, be a lamb at home and a lion outside. But don't become a lion at home and a lamb outside. So a lamb at home, a lamb is a very gentle animal. And when it comes to preach like a lion. So, when you meet somebody less advanced, you display compassion. So over here, we associate and follow the process. Then Lord Kapila says, you become fixed on the devotional path. And by becoming fixed on the devotional path, that opens the door for liberation. So further, in the concluding line of the purport, Prabhupada makes one very important point. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. Isn't that a beautiful statement? Prabhupada says, association with a devotee means association with the Lord. The devotee who makes this association develops the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord. And that becomes situated in a transcendental position of devotional service. It gradually becomes perfect. So, when you are sincere, the Lord guides you to a sadhu. The sadhu engages you in Shravanam Kirtanam, and then subsequently, the heart becomes more cleansed. You keep endeavoring, and then you get fixed, and you get to the Nishtha state. So, associated with devotees means associating with the Lord. Why is that? So because the devotee should be engaged in discussing Krishna Katha. Just like the holy name is no different from the Lord. Is the holy name different from the Lord? No, it's not different from the Lord. It's descending from the spiritual world. How can we chant the holy name again and again? Because it's coming from the spiritual world. Similarly, the message of the Gita and the Bhagavatam also. In the Bhagavatam first canto you read, Bhismadev, after he saw that Yudhishthira was installed on the throne, he thought it was appropriate for him to leave this material world. And when he was leaving, the Lord was there at his bedside, and meditating in the Lord's lotus feet, he departed. So Prabhupada says, if one is fortunate enough to be hearing the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita while leaving his body, then he will obtain the same result that Bhismadev achieved, while meditating in the Lord's lotus feet while leaving his body. So the point is, message of Gita is no different from the Lord. The message from the Bhagavatam is not different from the Lord. And therefore Prabhupada says, association with devotee means association with the Lord. You know, many times we become complacent in devotional association. We are not enthusiastic. We minimize devotee association. And what happens? That gradually affects our spiritual life. So Prabhupada built these temples so that we assemble together, we associate together. And when we associate, our focus should be Krishna Katha. Each of us should evaluate how much Krishna Katha did I take part in today? How much Krishna Katha did I do? So if you engage in spiritual subject matters, then the heart will get clear. So to summarize, Lord Kapila Dev is continuing to explain the importance of spiritual association. And when you associate spiritually, take part in Shranam Kirtana, what happens? What happens? Cheta Dharma Marjana. The heart begins to get cleansed. Just initiation doesn't cleanse your heart. Initiation is just the beginning. But we should continue to associate, serve. In order to advance spiritually, you need the medicine and the diet. So Prabhupada explained, our medicine is Shravanam Kirtanam. And our diet is practical service. So we should be keen to chant and hear and render practical service. And the more we get absorbed in hearing and chanting, the more we become fixed on the devotional path. So to summarize, in this section of the Bhagavatam, there are very beautiful verses that highlight the need for a spiritual association. And if we associate with saintly people, if we cultivate the mood of humility, humility, as we discussed the other day, is of the essence, then we will also be able to cleanse our heart. Cheta Darpan Marjana. So the holy name cleanses the heart, Krishna Katha cleanses the heart. And when you cleanse the heart, what happens? Ananda Buddhi, you get unending spiritual pleasure. Material pleasures have a limit, is that right? Prabhupada used to say, you stand on the banks of the sea, you see the waves, but there's a limit. There's no limit to the waves of the spiritual ocean. You experience more and more happiness. So we should endeavor to associate, look forward to association, and if we engage in reading, that will help a lot. One of our big defects is we don't read enough. Am I right? We should be reading Prabhupada books more. Prabhupada said these books are not just for distribution, they're also for reading. And if you endeavor, Krishna will come. Hare Krishna. Okay, we can take on some questions if you have. Yes. So, are all of you serious about getting more involved in Krishna Katha?
Yes.
So how do you do that? How do you do that? By chanting, reading. Reading is very important. Yeah.
Maharaj,
Quickly.
see the purport of this verse, see that Prabhupada is saying that non-devotees
Because when they read the books, read the philosophy, they associate with Prabhupada, that has an effect. Because why did Prabhupada say distribute my books? But in the purport they associate with Prabhupada's teachings and the teaching of the other acharyas. And that cleanses their heart. That's why Prabhupada said distribute my books. Okay. Okay, more questions? Yes, Advaita.
Prabhupada follows in there in that point that it's in the right mood. So Prabhupada is preaching the Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the right mood. That's why when we read Prabhupada books, we understand it that way.
You feel his presence.
In the right mood.
You feel.
Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is in the right mood. That's why they understand it. Which means that if they read other books, they won't understand. Prabhupada book is perfect.
Well, when you read these books, you're giving Prabhupada and the acharyas a chance to preach. Just like Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is based on Baladev Vitabhusan presentation. And when Prabhupada would be dictating the purpose of the Bhagavatam, he would have in front of him the commentaries of the previous acharyas. And he would take the essence. Okay? Any more questions?
One question.
Girdhari.
Actually, I don't have a question. I'd like to share something on the subject matter that you just spoke about book distribution,
Yeah.
how people will become devotees. Actually, there was a brahmachari who came, it was just many, many years back, and he was my roommate. I was also brahmachari. So I asked him, how did you become devotee? He's from France. So he said he was a good sense enjoyer, and he was wandering from hotels to hotels. So one day when he was leaving the hotel room, he found a Bhagavad Gita in a room dustbin. And he said, what is this? Why they have done this book here? So he picked up the book and he read it to become a devotee. He got initiated by Prabhupada when he never met him. He got initiated by letter. So, I mean, he saw that book there kind of long.
Something very similar to what you said. In Los Angeles, we had a female devotee who was working in the campus, cleaning the rooms of the students. So the students in the summer vacation, when they're going home, whatever they don't want, they throw it. So she was cleaning, and she found one of Prabhupada's books coming back inside the waste paper basket. She started reading it, going to the temple, and became a devotee. I'll tell you something more interesting, one a real classical story. So, I was in Russia 2 months ago. And I asked one of the devotees, how did he become a devotee? He was an aspiring disciple. So he said, he was in a Christian missionary of the Russian Orthodox Church for 4 out of 5 years. It's a 5-year course before you start preaching. He had finished 4 years, and he was just entering the 5th year. Someone gave him Bhagavad Gita in Russian. He started reading that book, and he ended up becoming a devotee. Even though he had 4 years of training behind him. Yeah. I'll tell you another story. This is also a Russian story, great. There was a thief who broke into some devotee's house in the night to steal. And when he broke in, the devotee just stretched his hands. So he thought he knows I'm stealing. So he says, let me run. And he took whatever came in his hand. And what came in his hand was a Bhagavad Gita. So He started reading the Bhagavad Gita and he ended up becoming a devotee. So these books are very powerful. Okay, more questions? Yeah.
In the translation to this verse, it is mentioned that in the association of pure devotees,
Yeah.
this question of course has become busy. So, is that should be always pure devotees or?
Well, if you get the opportunity to associate with pure devotees, you're more happy. But nevertheless, associate with devotees, even if they're not pure. And if we behave idly, then they'll also get reformed. We can't say, there's no pure devotee in the Phoenix temple, so I'm not going to go there. We still go there. Okay. Yes, Sutta Goswami.
Why is it like sometimes the senior devotees have trouble to accept the junior devotees who are advancing?
Well, we should be happy if we see some devotee advancing. I mean, according to your statement, it appears that the senior devotee is not happy, but the junior is advancing. I don't think so. I think when the devotee sees somebody else advancing, he should be happy and get inspiration. If I'm unhappy to see others advance, it means I'm envious and jealous. If I'm envious and jealous, then that's a stumbling block. Yeah.
Envious and as you said, envious and jealous, is it a symptom of a materialistic devotee?
I'm sorry?
Envious and jealous, is it a symptom of a materialistic devotee?
If I'm envious,
Like it's mentioned in the...
I can still be a devotee and still be envious. The moment you get initiated doesn't mean that all your anarthas are gone. We have to make, when you enter the medical school, it doesn't mean you enter the school, you become a doctor. You'll eventually become a doctor if you pass all the years. So, there are different shades of devotees. It's not that you become a Brahmin today, so you become a pure devotee. We have to keep endeavoring. Here in America, they have a car rental company called Avis. You know that? They probably are in Mauritius too. They rent cars at the airport. So they have a slogan, we try harder. So what they're saying by that is, you can go to any car rental company, we try harder to please you. So we should constantly endeavor to eliminate the anarthas and make spiritual advancement. Okay. Yes.
Many ISKCON devotees do not take care of their old aged parents. Most of the time they say, do not worry, Krishna will take care.
But I think devotees do take care. I meet so many devotees who say, my mother is getting old, my father is getting old. I mean, we don't say, don't take care of your aged parents, and so we don't teach that. The only thing we teach is, don't compromise and give up your Krishna consciousness. So if you have to take care or make some arrangement by which they can be taken care, that's responsibility. Yes.
Hare Krishna. My name is Kaviraj, and I have a very short question, and with whom I respect you regarding the ego of a person. And most of the time I've noticed that after dissolving our own ego, a lot of organizations have their, they are separate.
Yeah.
And like we have different, like ISKCON, we have other Hindu organizations. So what are the signs that, how can we solve this division of of the unity of Hindu, and how can we bring all together under one?
Prabhupada was once taking part in an assembly where he had different Hindu groups present. And Prabhupada said the following mantra: one God Krishna, one book Bhagavad Gita, one mantra Hare Krishna. If we adopt these three, Prabhupada said there will be unity. But they don't want to accept these three, so there is so much disunity. One God, Krishna. One book, Bhagavad Gita. One mantra.
Thank you very much for your answer. And I have another question regarding what are the tests that our books have prescribed regarding the ego of a person? How can someone know that his ego is dissolving or is aggravating?
One symptom of ego dissolving is you want to become a servant of everyone. Last and last. But normally we don't want to be a servant. We want to be the boss, calling the shots. So you should say, I'm ready to serve everyone. Ready to serve the Vaishnava. Okay. Any more questions? Two more questions and then we'll stop.
I would like to ask a question on behalf of all grihasthas who have no children. They are serving ISKCON in so many ways, but unfortunately some devotees always insult us. One such comment is, if you have no child, you are useless and always phased out. Please comment.
Repeat the question.
On behalf of grihasthas,
Yeah, what's the question?
they are serving ISKCON in so many ways, but unfortunately some devotees always insult by commenting like, if you have no child, you are useless and
You are.
always phase out.
You are.
Useless.
Grihasthas who have no children, they are being insulted again and again.
I'm hearing about this for the first time. Yes, those who don't have children, they get insulted. I think it's crazy. We should not insult anyone. We should be respectful, sweet, honorable. If we insult devotees, that will be an impediment on the journey back to Godhead. Right?
Can you please enlighten us on how to deal with a devotee who is extremely envious?
Tell the devotee to chant the holy names attentively, and if we engage in Krishna Katha, all these anarthas will go away. The reason these anarthas are still there is we don't read and chant properly. That's it.
What is the difference between an advanced devotee and a senior devotee?
But you can't give one answer for it. Advanced devotee can also be a junior devotee. It's not that you have to be necessary to be a senior devotee to advance. And the symptom of an advanced devotee is he's following Prabhupada's instructions. And anyone can do that. All right? You can't say, you're only a devotee for 1 year, you can't advance. I know people who just join and they're so serious. Okay?
One last question.
At times we confuse Prajan Paap called being Krishna Katha. Example discussing the character of devotee behind his back. How to deal with this?
Well, we're doing Prajalpa, but we think we're doing Krishna Katha. What's the second part?
Like discussing the character of devotee behind his back.
If there is something positive, I'm not saying you can't discuss if you see something wrong, but it should be presented in an amicable way, respectful way. Otherwise, how will you correct somebody who is wrong? But we should do it gracefully. Just like the Bhagavad Gita says, one not steady of the tongue to speak the truth, but speak it pleasingly. So, I want to thank you devotees for the nice response. I didn't expect so many devotees to be here for the Bhagavatam class on a working day. There was a good crowd yesterday morning also. So thank you very much. And we take leave from all of you today. Hare Krishna.
One donor's daughter has come, her birthday is there, and she wants to cut cake here.
Okay. Yeah.
So it is something truly great said by a very, very advanced devotee, and we are so happy to have you here, Maharaj, and hoping that you can take the dust of your lotus feet and advance in the coming years, and that you will give us many, many years of nice association. And we pray that Krishna will keep sending you to Mauritius in good health, and we can take your association.
Une request pour votre time, une remercie Maharaj. Si quelqu'un a envie de remercier Maharaj, je donne l'occasion là, je donne 5 minutes de temps de remercier Maharaj. Oui, ma femme ici, je suis capable de.
Come. Second birthday.
बंद कर देता उसको आपका